Today we're going to continue with the stretches that were part of Kuo Lien Ying's curriculum in Portsmouth Square. And I want to again continue to stress that just do it to the best of your capabilities. Don't overstretch because if you get older, we're more likely to sustain injuries if you overdo. So just do it what you feel comfortable with. And as we get into this more strenuous part of the stretching routine, these stretches were developed for the Northern Shaolin, the high kicks and the low falling stance. And so these you can just do however you feel comfortable with. You don't have to overdo on these, but they definitely get into a little bit more of the strenuous nature. And there's no set amount that you do these. You're just going to do these what you feel comfortable with until you feel stretched out. And you do it both on the left side and you do it on the right side. So, and these are done normally on about a table height, something like I'm using a picnic bench today, as you'll see, and that's what I'm comfortable with working out. You could also use like a pole or a rail, like a handrail or something to do these on as well. So on the first one, you're gonna raise your leg and put it on the bench. First, I just kind of try to stand erect, keep my back elongated. Again, like the other exercises, the more elongated your back is, the harder the stretch will be. The main point is not to round your back too much. Try to keep your back extended. So you want to lean forward as much as you can, feeling the stretch in the back of your hamstrings here. If you can't grab your foot, that's fine. Just do however much you can. Again, keep the leg straight. You don't have to lock your knee really tight, but it's important not to keep it, just keep it straight. I like to intersect this stretch with this stretch, and it helps stretch out that muscle and go back to this. So in the first one, you're square to the front and your toe is up, shoulder square, and you're just leaning forward. I like to stick my chin out so it keeps my back straighter. And this is the one that Sifu Guo taught in Portsmouth Square. Some of the other ones I kind of put in because they kind of stretch other portions of the leg. So the next one I do, I turn my foot flat onto the bench and I'm like sideways, kind of like a side kick. And that will stretch out the calf area muscles. This is good for the falling stance. And this starts to stretch in the hip flexors and somewhat down below. So now I'm 90 degrees to the direction of the bench. The supporting leg is straight. So in the next one, I turn my foot straight up. Again, the supporting foot is 90 degrees to this foot. This left foot is straight up. The right foot is straight forward. And I go in. Try to keep the back straight. Now I can really feel the pull on the inside of the leg here. Go, 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 go. And low down. Again, just do these to your capabilities. The next one in the series, I go back to being straight and I twist like this. So if I'm on the left leg, I'm turning and facing clockwise. And then one more that I do, and this one was developed for the R-long, where you're doing the scorpion kick and you're trying to flex, arch your back. And here I'm stretching this portion of my body. So you're doing one side, and then we go to the other side. Sometimes you'll find that one side of your body is more flexible than the other side, and that's totally fine. And keeping the back straight, toe back, square to the front, square to the front. The supporting leg is straight forward. I try not to bounce too much. I just try to feel a real good stretch. Then I kind of relax a little bit and then kind of get deeper. And the next one is again, turn 90 degrees to the bench. And this leg is flat. Stretching out this area here, your ankle flexibility and the hip flexor. You also can try lifting your foot like a side kick by bending in. Again, you're working on this flexibility, part of working on the flexibility for the falling stance. And then third one, I turn the foot straight up. The supporting foot is still parallel with the bench, so it's 90 degrees like this. And then I dip down. And again, I pulls the inside of the leg muscles, stretching that part. And just do these till you feel comfortable. Again, square off to the front again. And now we're going to do the twist this way. If I'm doing the right leg, it'd be counterclockwise. And then I turn, and again, this stretches for the scorpion kick and the R-long, the third form of Kuo Lien Ying's Northern Shaolin. Hey, those are the stretches on the table or picnic bench. From the benches, I like to go into the chin to toe stretch next. So we do both the left and the right side. So in the chin to toe, you're just going to sit down on the supporting leg, and the stretching leg is straight out. And you're only going to reach down as far as you feel comfortable. Again, the main thing is keeping the back flat and trying to extend your back out this way. Don't round the back. Try to kind of get that extension So if there's a choice between rounding your back and getting further closer to your knee, or keeping your back straight and extending out and being further away, the second is the preferable, because the whole point is to keep your back flat when you're doing the stretch, not round your back. Rounding your back might get you closer to your knee, but it won't help you to get further forward. So again, I used to be much more limber. As I get older, I'm losing my flexibility. So I just do what I feel comfortable with. And do the right side. When we're doing the trying to progress to the chin to toe, the method that we use for kind of gaining kind of a gauge of how close you were chin to toe is like you use the two fists. For first you use the fist and thumb, and then you have like two fists, and then you have like one fist, and then you have a palm to the toe. But I'm kind of not even close to that. Again, don't want to overdo, because if you pull this hamstring muscle, I think I pulled it one time trying to do the chin to toe stretch, and took like, when I was young, I was like about maybe in my 30s, 6 months to recover. And at this age, it's going to be a very bad injury. So please take care in trying to achieve it. It's not a competition. Mainly it's just trying to stretch your body out and remain as flexible as you can as you get older. There's no pride lost in not being able to do it. Okay, so that's the famous chin to toe stretch. The amount of stretching that you do will most likely depend on what you plan to practice that day. For example, if you're just practicing your Tai Chi, then you can just get away with doing minimal stretches depending on the amount of time you have allotted for your practice that day. If you're doing something more strenuous like Cha Chuan or Arlong or the Northern Shaolin, then you want to put more time into the stretches. Normally, my workout routine, I spend maybe 15 to 20 minutes doing the stretches, and about an hour doing my foreign practice. So uh, after I do the bench and the chin to toe, I like to do some kicking routines. Now, I did a video on alternative Shaolin exercises and show you a bunch of kicking exercises you can do for the Shaolin. But simply, I just have it down to a few kicks to loosen up my ligaments and tendons and muscles so that I don't overdo and injure myself. And as I do my initial practice, especially if I'm doing the Shaolin, I do it very kind of easy and break into it. And then after a few times of doing the form or whatever I'm practicing, I'm pretty much stretched out and I can kind of go full blast at that point. So for minimum kicking routine, I'll just do a pointed toe line and pointed toe, pointed back sole kick. So they look like this. Again, on the kick, it's important to remember to keep the back straight and to come down with the kick to balance before you take the step into the next kick. And just remember to use momentum to do the kick, and relax and let your legs stretch. And since I'm doing these for stretching out, I just really focus on being relaxed and kind of use a momentum to get that stretch. So that's the soul kick. Pointed toe. And soul. Okay, so that's my stretching routine, usually every morning. You can get more extensive and do on the ground V leg stretches and all sorts of stretches, and that's up to you. But I'm just kind of showing you the main ones that Sifu Guo taught at Portsmouth Square. So I would call this kind of the minimum stretching routine. Okay, thank you.